Everybody, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Who believes in hip hop? Yeah. We are here in Atlanta, and we were recording business. I am Lucky Blaine, the one and only. We're gonna introduce automatically Owen, recording business. Come on down.
I just want to say thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot, and I think it's dope that you guys are here to see HipHop's first MC. This all started with this book right here. It's called 100 HipHop Facts, 1973 to 2000. This is a book from my company that I started my freshman year of high school, Daily Rap Facts. And this book, I was doing research, who is HipHop's first MC? And the answer that I got is Kool Herc. And you guys are gonna learn about him tonight. This book started everything, and I went to New York to film a documentary with Coke, and I wanted to show you guys a preview of it. So, can we run the documentary? It's just a little bit.
This is my man Sonny from Harlem. I used to bang his sister. I'm keeping it real. I used to bang his sister.
If you don't know who this man is, you're about to. This is Kool Herc, hip-hop's first MC ever. A pioneer, a legend, a lover, and a fighter. This is Lucky Blaine, Coke's right-hand man. Now pay attention. In the 70s, the Bronx was on fire. Over 40% of the South Bronx was burning. New York Fire Department responded to 250,000 calls a year. Drugs like cocaine, crack, and heroin took over this era, and in 1973, something special called hip-hop was going to be born.
The fire was crazy because there was a lot of abandoned buildings, and back in the days, the landlord, they didn't want to keep the building up running or give hot water or give heat in the winter time, so they burned the building and claimed for the insurance and just collect the money. But at the same time, they were burning down the Bronx because like that, it could fall into a low bracket income, and then they could just rebuy again and make the Bronx different. The Bronx was really, really hurting. People was at war, people was using drugs, because that's the only thing that, was around us. But we also had positive stuff. We had hip-hop. Hip-hop was the chain that changed everything. It's a music, the culture. It's everything that you could expect in one.
So that's a little bit of it. Thank you. So now I'm gonna introduce Lucky Blaine. He already introduced himself, but I'm gonna introduce him again. So thank you guys for being here.
I'm down here with Lucky Blaine, the one and only.
1, 2, 11! We love hip hop. Do you love hip hop?
Yes, sir.
I said, do you love hip hop?
Yes, sir.
From the Boogie Down Bros, the one and only, the contender, the one, number one in the house. What created this genre, this culture, what made it happen? Well, all L Cool J, Nas, Raz, everybody that's out there, all the FBI is looking for this man. Alright? The one and only, the legend, the icon, the pioneer, and the one that represents this culture, that brought it to his knees, all the way up to the rooftop. Let's give it a round of applause. Kool Herc,
One, two, thanks, clap.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Yo. What's up, Owen?
Yo. Man, what a night. What a night for hip hop. I just want to start by saying, I think hip hop's the greatest genre ever. It's the greatest genre in the world. It's one of the youngest genres. And I think it's a privilege that, when you look at something like rock and roll or something like that, the genre's been around so long, it's hard to give the proper flowers to the roots, you know what I'm saying, of who really started rock and roll. When did it start, and are they here to kind of get that credit and get those flowers? And I think, hip hop has drastically impacted my life. I know it's impacted everyone's life in here as I'm sitting here with a lot of talented artists, DJs, producers. And I think it's vital, even in the present when we so focused on what we got going on and what we're passionate about, that we do our research and we do our homework and we look back and we give credit and we give props to the pioneers and the people who sacrificed for the shit to get here today. And we have the honor and the opportunity to give that credit to the first MC of all time, hip hop's first MC, Kool Herc. Y'all make some noise, man.
Thank you. Let me thank OB, recording business, and everybody in Atlanta. This is my first time to Atlanta. Atlanta's beautiful like everywhere else, and I'm here. And I grew up in the Bronx with cool DJ Herk, when the party was 50 Cent. So it was even before hip hop. I mean, we considered the ones who killed disco, because after us it became hip hop. And growing up in the Bronx is like growing up anywhere. We wasn't rich, but we wasn't poor, but we was good and hard. And when it came to hip hop, Kool Herc created the cutting the beats. The beats went with the dancing, which was considered b-boys. And that right there with me talking beside that. But again, we was before our time. I couldn't see that. I wasn't even chasing hip hop. I was truly chasing the street. So at a young age, not realizing what it was, and as it grew, it turned into something that, as you see, it's $1 billion industry. It went around the world, and it gave you an out. Look how many people done turned their whole life around. But at the beginning, again, like I said, when it was 50 Cent, who was doing something before 50 Cent? Like you hear a lot of people say they was there, they did this, they did that, because they got paid to take the credit for what they do. And a lot of them, no disrespect, you find out they Lion Kings, because they didn't tell the true story. You heard of Kool Herc, and a lot of times you never heard of Kool Herc. If it wasn't for, in some type of way, T. LaRock, K. LaRock, but the original Scott LaRock, who was with KRS-One. And when they created the South Bronx, it told the story about LaRock. But LaRock is my name, that's my patent. My son's middle name is LaRock. His name's Dante LaRock. Then another brother, he was like, Cole, can I take your name? And I was like, what you talking about? Because like I said, I wasn't chasing hip hop. It wasn't even hip hop. They used to call it a B-beat. They used to say like, them cats are playing something different. And that was because we was playing beats, when guys were just playing disco. And then beside that, Kool Herc was that cat. To me, he was playing 2 turntables. Cats didn't have that. You played on your mother's set. Just to show you again, I'm 70 years old. I'm not no little kid.
Come on.
So again, at 70, I could be your father. I know all that. My son is 45, But growing up on the block where you couldn't, to me, I got to say the block, because that's what I feel I know I brought to hip hop. Because I wasn't chasing no beats. I didn't even write down nothing. Everything came out of me, just literally came out of my mouth. And talking, and then being who we are as people. I remember being at many parties. They used to tell me, shut the fuck up. And I used to be like, dang, Herc, what they doing? And Herc be like, yo, well, we was mobile DJs. We wasn't even ourselves where it was a Kool Herc production. And we played at an event, and they told me stop playing. Came up on the stage and told me shut up. Because I used to call out people's names. Like in here tonight, I got a brother called Juice LaRock. Again, they still gaining my name on the respect of who I am. And I'm proud of you, my brother. Because there's a lot of LaRocks. Like I said, you can hear them. T. LaRock, K. LaRock, Doc LaRock, Scott LaRock, R.C. LaRock. That's my patent. But that's hip-hop. And again, chasing the street. I was out in the street. I was on the block. I was selling cannabis, at first. Now it's legal. Unbelievable. You know, back then I'm ducking, I'm hiding, but I went from nickel bags, half an ounces to quarter pound. I sold 160 nickels in 2 hours because I was able to broadcast it, just like I'm talking now. I'll tell you, all right, you've been smoking the whack, but come on and get the chunky black. That was a well-known weed that was up in New York, you know, but running again, man, the club side was great because we made it fashionable for cats to come in there with sneakers. Everybody act like it, you know, sneakers was cool. You couldn't get to a club. Just like in my era, there was bands. There wasn't no, you know, audio, how people do. So again, we broke a lot of barriers. You know, it's just that everybody takes the credit now, and everybody gets a piece, but look where it took everybody. It took everybody around the world.
Hell yeah. Cole, when you say you was in the streets and you was on the block, let the people know, where are you from exactly?
I'm from 174th University, Featherbed Lane, Jessup Avenue. I came out of Jessup Avenue, and that's the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? And back then, the east side was burning up. You know, a lot of people get the Bronx mixed up where it was burning. Not to say they was poorer than the people on the west side, but the west side had better buildings, different things. You had to truly have a job, not just totally public assistance, or not saying that was something bad, but you lived where you was able to afford. Like I guess here, anywhere. You're gonna have ghetto, you're gonna have what, poor people, middle class, and rich. What brand do you stand in? I was middle class. My mother was a single parent, so.
Did you have family in the streets too, or what?
Never.
What made you go to the street route?
I went to the streets because in the 6th grade, I'm with cats that, I had one leather coat, they got 5 leather coats. And they coming to school with $200-300. I'm coming to school with $5 a week.
Right.
And I'm like, how does cat get this money? But never knew, I'm too young to know. But they fathers was them rich guys, Nicky Barnes, and them guys that was getting money, that was their sons. Their sons had money, come to school with money, you know, and I've seen guys at that time, that's when, you know, Harlem was the spot, Nicky Barnes, it was drugs, it was heroin, weed, you know, you take a little acid, I guess, you know, that was the running drug of choice, you know. And that's how it went. I didn't start messing with drugs until like 16, 17. I grew up as a good kid. No, not good or bad. I went to church with grandma every Sunday. You was forced. You had 3 sets of clothes if you grew up in New York. You had street clothes, school clothes, and church clothes. And that was it. Sometimes you ain't pick your own clothes. You know what I'm saying? And when you get punished, you couldn't go off the stoop. When you on the stoop, you couldn't leave the stoop. You better not turn the corner. You know, we all had rules because somebody had to run the spot. You didn't control your mother and father. You know, and again, with the street, like I said, I had a good knuckle game, so that kept niggas off my ass. You know, because once you fight back, then it's a different story. Right. And then you either play ball, you get, you know, your pretty boy, or your family got money, or you got a big family. If you got 15 people in your family, a guy with just 2 brothers, you know, you a little easy, because you, and growing up, somebody beat you up, you go get your brother. Mm-hmm. Your brother come, if he don't get beat up or beat the guy up, but at least back then, when you fought, they made you shake hands, because we live on the same block. I know your mother like you know mine. So growing up is just growing up, and I don't have a problem with getting money. Once I learned how to get money, I mean, it's better to have money than not have money, but it's what comes with the money. You die, go to jail, or get rich. Tell me who's still in the game that got rich, never died, or went to jail. I lost my best friend at 18 through the game. That's what really made me understand the street. But as a person, I knew that I didn't have bad in me, but that's why I say hip-hop is the good and the bad and the ugly. Who would have ever thought it would have went to gospel? Who would have ever thought that? Who would have ever thought now, like the trap rap, different rap? Every 10 years, there's a new, to me, it was told, a new drug, a new this. The same way I smoked weed and did things, and now, like these new things, I got to accept it. I don't even, you know, the young kids now, it's a lot of things they do. I wouldn't dare touch because I'm afraid of it. Like when older people say, nah, you smoking that dope, but you doing this. As an older person, life is life, man. And hip hop did save me to a degree because as I started doing that, I started truly falling back from doing a lot of other things, and it woke me up, but kids wake you up. My son woke me up. I didn't feel like I want to go to jail, call home, and another man pick the phone up. So my principles changed, which in life, you can't stay doing the same thing, especially illegal. That's why I say once again, you're going to always have people chase money, get money. Look at the way they throwing money around now.
So you're in the streets, you're doing your thing, you figured out how to make money. At what point did you meet Kool Herc?
I met Kool Herc before he started playing music, because he went with a girl in my neighborhood. That's how I met Kool Herc. And Herc was always a big guy, you know, not saying nothing between anybody else, but he was a big muscle guy. And his girl, she was a pretty girl in her own way, but she had a nasty attitude. You know, I'm just saying, she had a nasty attitude because, you know, she started smacking guys because Herc was a big guy. So me and my man, we come out the pizza shop. He said something to her. They know each other. She smacked him. And I said, damn, you gotta just smack you? And she said, I'll smack you, Coke. I said, no, you won't, because I'm going to smack you back. And she was like, well, you wait till Herc come. I'm going to have Herc tear you up. I was like, all right. So I went down the block. I told the team. So the team is just like, what you going to do? I said, I'll fight him fair. I'll fight any man fair, man.
Let's go.
You know, we're going to start that way. It can get ugly after that, but we're going to start fair. I'm a man of my own. I never was a stepping stone. So anyway, Herc came, and Herc like been around us a little bit, but the team was like, they wanted to jump him. Like, nigga, we just gonna rip him up, because we from the block, you know? And I told him, nah, you have to let me fight a man fair. But Herc never said nothing. So I said, yo, Herc, could I speak to you? Because me and Herc went to the same high school, Alfred E. Smith. So I said, yo, Herc, let me speak to you. And we went to the side. I said, yo, your girl is going crazy. She's smacking niggas, you know, and she's just acting out. And he said, what, Coach? I said, yeah. She said she's going to get you. This is why everybody got quiet. They was ready to jump you. And I told him no. He said, okay. We went back, and he told him, man, go upstairs, shut up, and stop all that. And after that, I said, Herc, come hang with me a little bit, because Herc didn't hang out on the west side. I took Herc to about 5, 6 parties, not to say that made Kool Herc. Kool Herc was always that guy. But as far as introducing him to a different side of the track, I was that cat. I knew the guys getting money on the block. I knew the guys. I was born in the Bronx, man. I was born in the Bronx, 100%. And he said he was going to have a party for his sister. And that's how it accidentally came about. But even back then in the day, like I said, a lot of people didn't say their nationality. I didn't know Herc was Jamaican. To me, because my family came from North Carolina. I'm Bronx born, you know, and growing up, I grew up around a lot of different type of people. Italians, Yugoslavians, and all type of different nationalities. I even had a Chinese friend, my man called Wong Lu. He was the only Chinese guy in the whole school. But his father owned some of, you know, Rockefeller Center. And he had a fight with a guy beat him up, because he was a thin little guy. Because you ain't seen Chinese people. Then I thought he was Chinese, but it was really Korean.
Wong Lu didn't know no Kung Fu.
He didn't know none of that. But to show you the funny side, so the guy beat him up, then he said he had enough. So he was like, Coke, I had enough. So the guy wanted to beat him up some more. So I said, nah, I'm going to take his place. I took Wong Lu's place. I beat the guy up. I walked Wong Lu home. He told his father. The next day, his father invited me to the house. They had a private house. Their house was fenced in. You never knew what was back in their house. They had maids. They had all type of stuff. His father was filthy rich, man. Wong Lu, his father paid me $25 a week. And this is in the late 60s to walk his son to school.
Damn.
And after the second week, I told him nah, because he was in my class. We became friends, man. And then his father brought his brothers up from Korea. They were sumo wrestlers. Each one of them was 480, 525. He said, now if I send his brother to school to beat the kid up that beat him up, it wouldn't look right. And like I said, he taught me, man. He took me to Chinatown. I became the first black ping pong champion, you know. Do nothing with me with ping pong.
Couldn't mess with you.
Nah, not at all. I won trophies.
Damn.
I went to Chinatown. I just couldn't stay late because the gangs come out
Okay.
all over the world. You know, and like I said, I didn't, one thing I say with growing up with Southern people, you know, like my grandmother kept guarding us talking and all that. So I wasn't prejudiced, man, unless you brought it on me.
Right.
If you ain't care for me, I ain't care for you, and we take that how we take it.
Now from, you meet Kool Herc fighting, right? And then you tell him to kind of, you know, come kick it with you at some parties and whatnot. From that point, how soon after that do you feel like, because obviously at the time you didn't know, like you said, hip hop didn't even exist. It wasn't a thing. Because, you know, they give the date that's celebrated for hip hop, August 11th, 1973. To you, is that the date? Do you have a date? Do you even look at it that way?
I mean, again, I go by what they marked, you know, because that was her sister's party. But this is where the problem come in with other people feeling like they created it because they grew up in the Bronx and they was playing music. But as we know, most of them got the disco on their name.
Right.
They the disco this, you know, I gotta scream them out.
Right.
Disco this, disco that. And y'all knew y'all wasn't playing hip hop. Y'all
Right.
wasn't. It ain't nowhere in the world y'all was playing hip hop because you'd have took the title. But
And what do you think was the key in that transit? Because I heard you say hip hop killed disco.
yeah, we killed disco.
Was that a key moment? Was it like a battle, or was this, did something take place where you felt like it was the transition for you in your mind?
Yeah, because everybody started sounding like us at the party. Everybody started cutting beats. Everybody started wearing sneakers, you know. But again, with dressing, you know, I dressed like cats in Harlem. As if you really was getting money, you had to buy clothes at AJ Lester's. This is before Gapper Dan, Mr. Tony's, Mr. Ori's. You know, again, you had to dress the role to play the look. You know, and like I said, I was killing them, man. I was getting.
Yeah.
I
You was getting money in the streets.
Yeah.
So you wasn't hurting.
Not at all. Not at all.
You and Herk start partying, and was it like second nature to you that, you know, because you DJ'd as well, correct?
Yes, that's how I know. Again, when you say like Kool Herc's just an MC, then you wasn't at a Kool Herc party. Because ain't no way you could have came to a Kool Herc party and not feel Kool Herc. You ain't had to love me or nothing, but I played a different trend of R&B. I started blending and cutting the R&B records. Herc played a lot of break beats and a lot of everything, but me, myself, was the disco side of chopping that up, playing how cats play music now.
And hell yeah. And what was it though that made you? Because I know you were saying some of the clubs will tell you, yo, shut the fuck up or get out. What was it in you though that made you just? And I know to us it seems like obvious, the obvious trajectory, but like the DJs were the stars of this time period. I think people forget that at the early stages of hip hop. The DJs were the stars. It wasn't about like the rap star or whatever. So at a time where the DJs were leading the way with the soundtrack and the vibe and the music, what made you reach for the mic and start talking your shit, start being an MC and master of ceremony, hyping the crowd up, deciding to freestyle and rhyme some word? Was that just natural for you?
It came about, like, that part came about accidental once again. Like I said, I really came to the party to sell my nickel bags. And one day, you know, Herc's family went away, and he wanted to take his lady upstairs, you know, to watch TV. So he said, Coach, you know, you play the records for a little while? And I was like, yeah, cool. So I'm in the room, and I'm selling my weed out the room. You knock twice, I open the door, serve you, close the door, and I'm still playing music. So Herc said he'd be back in like 20 minutes. And I'm in there. I ran out of my whole pack. And then I look out about 12 o'clock, Herc's out there dancing. I said, yo, how long you been out there? He said, damn, I didn't know you could play records, you know? And accidentally from that, I started calling my friend names out. That's how myself started rapping. You know, we in the party, we young. I'm giving guys cars. My man Money Bill, that was his name. He ain't have a nickel. You know, so again, I was like, I would tell you, go move your car because you double park in my car. So the girls were like, oh, these young guys got cars. And we all had nicknames, Noogie Noog, Reggie Rez, Paradise, Skip from the Joint, Norm Rockwell. You know, like the block. Everybody got names. If your nose run, your name is Booger. If you're real dark, that's Black. You know, again, your block people gave you a name. It's very seldom you gave yourself your own nickname. Right. If you said that, a lot of the cats are lying. Kool Herc came out with Cannabis Dream. I went to Mexico and I was dealing with cartel cats, and one cat name was La Rock that he would say he had La Rock, and my name was Coke. So when I come in, he was like, Coke, and I was like, what up, La Rock? And I woke up that morning, I said, Herk, I found my name. Kool La Rock. And as you see, that's a patent. And from now, you got La Rocks all over the place.
Hell yeah. And at what point were you freestyling at this time? Like, I know you were shouting the names and saying the names, but like, when did you take it to that next level of like, okay, just off the top of your head, just creating a vibe with your words and whatnot? Is this that same time period?
It came, yeah, everything came like that. I have never in my life wrote nothing down on paper. Because I'm going to give you the feeling that I got at the party. So a lot then, like I said, I'm smoking, so whatever my head had in it, I'm going to let out me.
Right.
And it come out me. But then, like I said again, as the party got bigger, my mouth got bigger, you know. But what triggered me one day, I was at a club called the Hevalo. That's why they talk about the great Hevalo. And I'm playing, and Herc and us never had to use the house system because the system called the Herculoids was, Herc built that to the biggest. People could never have a louder sound than us. So we at the Hevalo, I'm playing, and this kid, Ronnie D, got on the system of the house system. So I'm playing, and you know, like I said, I'm selling weed at the same time, and I hear somebody talking like, Coke, Coke. So I'm not really paying attention because I got the system up pretty loud, but I'm hearing somebody say something. So then somebody like, Coke, Ronnie's trying to talk to you. And I'm like, what is he doing? I'm playing, I'm working, I'm at the party, I'm playing the music. So I cut it down. I said, Ronnie D, what you want? And he was like, Coke, I want to battle you. And I was like, I'm not into that. That's her thing. I'm not into none of that. I said, Ronnie D, I like you. You know, what you talking about? So I said, I cut the music back up. He kept jumping in and just talking. So you know the team, they like, yo, Coke, get him, man. So I cut the music off. I said, Ronnie D, what you want to do? He said he want to battle. I said, okay, Ronnie, I'm not battling for nothing. And I was a hustler. I was getting $1,700 a day. I took out a G, put it on the table. I said, now put your G out, Ronnie D. Ronnie D ain't have a nickel. He ain't have a fucking nickel.
That's cool.
So, you know, I'm like, go ahead, man. And then he cut his music on again, and then the team was like, Coke, get him for free. And I said, okay. So I said, you play two, I play two. I let him play 2 records. And then when I played 2 and he tried to play a 3rd record, I cut the hook system up to drown him out. Then I said to him, and this is how it truly all started. I said, Ronnie D, let me introduce myself. I'm Kool Herc. I'm the first G money man. I kept a deal better any type of weather, cold or hot, rain or not. Born in an orphan, fought like a slave, fucking and fighting is all they say Kool Herc played. Because they say if a freak is unique and that's the freak you seek, I guess before you go, the freak be on the bow. As long as the music's not stopping, the rocks are dropping, the champagne is flowing, the freaks will be going. Hotel, motel, you don't tell, we don't tell. Ha!
That's crazy. And if I'm not mistaken too, didn't Sugar Hill Hotel Motel, that came from you, correct? That line?
Yeah, Hank just flipped it another way. I grew up with Big Hank, you know, but Hank wasn't really a DJ. You know, he was a good guy, and then he took it to Jersey. That's how they found out about it, with Sylvia Robbins' son and all that. But then by then, like I said, I had fell off and went back to what I do.
Right.
You know?
And at the time, you and Herc, you guys are doing these parties and whatnot. There's some notorieties going on. Could, at this time in the Bronx, can you set the landscapes? I think a lot of people don't really know how the Bronx functions when it comes to like the hood and the projects. And could anyone just move around the Bronx freely at this time and go to any side of the Bronx and party wherever they wanted to?
Nah, but to me, that's like anywhere.
Right.
I'm not gonna be, it ain't no paranoia, but I done seen so much going on in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Right. I was like, do we gotta check in? You know, excuse me, gentlemen. But
right.
Again, I don't care where you go, man. You gonna have places you can't go.
Right.
And in the Bronx, it was a time you couldn't go to Little Italy. You can say what you want. They'll call you and tell you, niggas, we don't serve niggas. Mm. You know? And around St. Patrick's Day, the Irish will run out them Irish bars and chase your black ass down the block, man. You know, a lot you couldn't do and go. That's right. Why when you did come in the hood, we'll run them out too and attack you too.
Right.
You guys, you know, no disrespect. You let a white guy come through there, they're gonna take him and rob him, get on out of here.
Right.
Just like how it is.
Right.
You know, and that's all over the world.
But would you say like you and Herk was like the first two like DJs that could kind of move freely though through the Bronx?
Yeah, I agree to that. That's why I said none of them came to the West Side when Herk was coming and becoming who he was. Mm. They stayed on that side of town, but once again, you just couldn't go anywhere. But as us being Kool Herc, Kool Rock, no disrespect to them again, but I told you I was a hustler. I had a arsenal, you know, and I'm telling the true story. That's why we put the rope. When guys be like, where that rope came from? That was because back in the day, guys would get next to your equipment and, you know, somebody will start something and they'll snatch your equipment and run. Mm. Now you ain't got equipment.
So the little barrier around the DJ booth, you saying you created that?
Yes, man.
That's fine.
Like I told them, if you come past the rope, you know, your life is in danger. Things can happen.
Right.
And that's how it then, man. I mean, God, if you're really older and you grew up, you knew. I remember when guys was making guns, they called them zip guns with a rubber band. And I used to be like, a rubber band? Like, I had a real gun, so I had a 3.7, 4.5, 12 gauge. Ain't no man with no rubber band will shoot me and kill me before I kill him. But it's law of the land. I'm saying again, if you're walking around with G money, I had friends, bank robbers. I knew the guys getting 100,000 a week. This is no, you know,
crazy.
again.
70s, that's crazy.
Yes, I met Big Smitty that was in American Gangster, Nicky Barnes' bodyguard. Mm. He was one of the biggest guys in the after hour spot I played in, you know.
How soon after, like, did you start noticing, like, okay, there's other cats rapping now? Or like after y'all was having some parties and whatnot, you're doing your thing in the mic, like, how quick did that, like, style start to spread to where, like, okay, you're hearing about there's a rapper from another area, or did it go like that, or?
I mean, you had guys in their hood, but you didn't hear about them till after the Blackout. Because once the Blackout came, they stole all the equipment from Fordham Road, Crazy Eddie's and wherever. So once they had equipment, now everybody can fairly compete.
And were there any guys around this time where y'all are partying? Were there any guys that maybe you remember during that time that you wouldn't have thought, but later down the line they kind of went on to?
No, see, I didn't stay behind hip hop. Mm. Like I said, after the Imperial JC that was with Kool Herc and us, because he was Timmy Tim, Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. They don't even name the cast that was really with Herc at the beginning. And then, like I said, I was running in the street. So once I stopped hip hop, I went back to doing what I do. But I always had a 9 to 5. Right. You know, I watch Al Capone. You know, you get the accountant. You gotta have a job.
Right. And do you have an opinion, especially back then? Like I know you said you ended up battling that dude. You drowned his music out and hit him with that rhyme. Did you develop an opinion on what makes a good or a bad MC? Because I know it sounds to me at its essence, hip hop was competitive. You know, DJs were battling. Down the line from that, you know, obviously you've had rappers that would battle, and you'd have dancers that would battle. So I feel like the competitive nature was always there. In the early days, was there anything that went into like critiquing another rapper, or what made a rapper dope to you early on in the days of rapping?
I mean, again, I wasn't judging them, but they was coming behind us. So again, I wasn't looking behind me. But you always had that animosity in each other. It was people, if you lived on your block and you was caught at a Kool Herc party, they would be like, you ain't supposed to go to his party, you supposed to only go to this guy's party, that guy's party. So if you was traveling like that where you was a yes man or however, that's where the competitiveness came at. But how you feel about it now? Some of it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then by me being older, see, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
By me being older, I have to accept any part of hip hop because I am hip hop. When guys talk,
Right. So you're not one of like the OGs that's like, oh, I don't fuck with this.
Nah, I can't do that. I can't.
You don't do that.
Because you can bring it any way you want. It's hip hop, right? Where it oriented. It came from that.
Right.
And like I said, it's just to the only part that gets me when we're killing each other. That's the only part.
And is it true that I heard a story about Kool Herc got stabbed or something like that?
Yeah, he got stabbed at the Executive Playhouse, but that was behind grown men trying to get in the party that run the spot. Quiet as kept. They never told the real story. You had 8 execs. So we was playing that night. My man Mike on the lights was at the door. I had went to the bathroom, but I went home because I lived like 3 blocks from the spot. So I went home, and when I'm coming back, I see the police. I'm like, all right, somebody had a shootout.
Shit.
Somebody got robbed out front. And then my man came and said, Herc got stabbed. And I'm like, damn. And they was like, go to the hospital. He's at the hospital. So I ran to the hospital. You know, he got stabbed. And as soon as I got there, you know, I'm bugging, like, who did it, blah, blah, blah. And Herc's father, he seen like I was bugging. So he said, Coach, give me your gun. And we in the hospital. So I'm like, don't take my gun. You know what I'm saying? Because I was feeling too much hurt and hate. And he said, so he went in the room. He said, Herc, call Coke in there. So Herc called me in there. He said, give my father the gun. So I'm like, all right, Herc. He said, I know who they are. That's the only thing saved it. He said, I know who they are. When I get well, we go get them. I gave his father the gun. He said, you can come get it at 8 in the morning. I gave him the gun at 8 in the morning. I knocked on his door. He gave me the gun back. I went and got Mike, and we went hunting. That's how it go. You know, we ran in a spot where they was at, but Mike wasn't sure, and they ran out. But
So him trying to take the gun didn't really fucking work.
not at all.
He was like,
But I had to
I'll see you in the
respect
morning.
him.
Yeah.
He said it.
right.
You ought to keep my gun.
Nah, for sure. And then from that, did that create a shift in you and your outlook on kind of running around?
It did because like I said, if I would have been there, not putting me as no giant on no pedestal, but I'd have shot. You know, that's the bottom line. You got a knife, I got a gun.
Right.
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Right. That's what would have happened. You know, again.
Yeah. So that made you kind of want to chill out a little bit.
Yeah, because afterwards, like I said, and to me what really made me chill, when scratching came about, you know, just like I guess how we did disco, I felt that like when they were scratching, a lot of guys wasn't really putting the music together. It just sounded like a chalkboard.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm getting a little too old to be here with this. And I used to be at the door, me and Herk. And then as we got older, the crowd stayed young because we always dealt with high school cats. And I'm like, I'm not gonna kill nobody's kid for $3.50.
Right.
But the stick-up kids gonna come, and if they get grown, they gonna try to do that. So I fell back, you know. And then I felt I had always had a job, and I was still on the block, and that was it. I didn't see no more of me needing to be into it, you know.
Yeah. Can you tell a story about where like Herc used to have to work the door sometimes, right? Didn't I hear a story about when y'all was first setting up? Herc used to have to kind of work the door at the party because y'all had someone up there that kind of wasn't like that, I guess.
Yeah, and again, you know, we was at the club called the Hebrew. You know, everybody had bouncers. They had different guys at the door. But at that time, you had guys getting money in the street. If guys really came from the Bronx, you heard about, you know, Cisco, Bang, T-Ty and Rory, some names of cats getting crazy money at a young age, but when they came with entourages. So a lot of guys were scared to stop people, like in life. I mean, look at Diddy, you know, but not saying that no matter what. You know, I'm just saying, you know. So guys can't stop guys.
Yeah,
Some guys can't stop guys.
You sound like yes men and stuff like that.
Yeah, you gonna be what you be.
Right.
You ain't strong enough. You ain't strong enough to stand up.
Coke, is it free puff?
Hey.
Hey, talk to me.
Listen, he's a man, and me, like I said, when you're on top of the rock and you do what you do,
Right.
it's part of this. It's part of the law of the land.
Right.
I went to places, you know, I've traveled a little bit in life. Mm-hmm. You know when you go in door A, B, or C, mm-hmm. which door you want to go in. Mm-hmm. But somebody's in charge. I mean, was everybody scared? Mm-hmm. Or for what reason? It's the money. Mm-hmm. To me, it's the greed and the money that you sell your soul for. Right. And you really change. But if he's on top, what you gonna do? You either ride or you ain't there. Look at Suge. Suge was intimidating people, right? Do we know that part? I'm just saying again, like, you flow how you flow. I had gay phobia at growing up, you know. And I know, come at me. I learned to
I think a lot of us did too.
But I had phobia. So I didn't know how to deal with that either.
Right.
You know, you my dude, then all of a sudden you look at me so much. Like if I keep seeing your teeth, I'm like, yo, don't turn around and be like, yo, Coke, I love you. Yeah, I love you too. No, I love you. No, then I gotta do something. But it took a minute for me to adjust to that. I went to a gay club, so the original Paradise Garage. If you know about that, Mike Brody, Larry LeBand, great place, man. And I had to ask the owner, like, how do I deal with, you know, gay people? Right. And he was like, in here, you just tell them you don't go that way. And I did it, but, you know, one night I had to choke a motherfucker because he kept following me and wanting to put his butt by me. I was like, nigga, I'll kill you in there. But, again, you know, growing up, what can I say?
Real shit.
Our rules was, if you know, like a transvestite. One night, my man was kissing on a person, then I found out that was a man. He had to do something to him. Else you can't be with the team no more. But again, come on, y'all, it's growing up. Everything's legal now. I had that. I'm sorry, I had that. Yeah, as long as you tell me, we know, don't pat my butt, don't come by me, we good. But now, you know, it is what it is, man. Life ain't changing. I call it new name, faster game, different pace, man.
Right, real shit.
No, that's real.
Clap it up for Coke.
Hey, and then when all this is happening in real time, obviously hip hop isn't even called hip hop. When did hip hop get its name, and how did it get its name?
I can't even tell you that.
Oh, for real?
Because the only thing I know is like we played in Taft schoolyard. We packed this whole schoolyard, packed this block real crazy. And at that time it was even the gangs was controlling Morris Avenue. So they was like, we'll protect y'all's equipment. But like I said, they wanted to hear Macho Man once every hour. You know, and we didn't know macho guys, they was the macho men, but we did that. But it was a man from Billboard magazine there, and he interviewed me and Herk and was like, what are y'all playing, man? The way y'all playing and you're talking, and he wrote that in the magazine then, and that was like in '63, before cats even recognized that, how he considered it. He said they playing some type of beat and talking. And to me, that was the first side of me seeing that something was trying to become a name. But like I said, once I fell back, I didn't even go to parties, man, because I started staying in Midtown and going downtown in the village, you know?
Yeah.
Because again, I've been a lifetime in the after hour spot. How many of y'all been to after hour spots? You know what I'm saying? You go in Friday, come out Monday. They serve chicken and the bathroom's unisex. Come on, stop. Y'all know.
And then, you know,
I'm just saying.
Down the line, like we ended up getting DJs like DJ Clue, Kid Capri. They would you know, they would utilize delay and like you would hear them on a mixtape or a CD, and it would be like DJ Clue, 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 Clue. Is it true that you was one of the first ones to kind of do the echo effect without really using any equipment?
Yeah, once again, I used to be listening to the, you've been entertained by the rest, but right about now you're being entertained by the best. Cool DJ Herk, and Kool Rock.
So you was doing your own echoes?
I was doing that before.
Before it wasn't even a thing yet?
It wasn't fashionable.
Damn.
As you see.
Crazy. Do you know how many, like, how soon did you start seeing active MCs utilizing, I know you said there's all these people started, you know, using the name LaRock. How soon did that start happening, and were you kind of surprised by that?
Yeah, I was very surprised, but like they always say, if they take your name, you know, they want to be you. You know, so that gave me a little gratitude at least, but I wasn't looking for gratitude, man, you know, in that way.
And I know you said you got out of it kind of quick, you know, before it even fully took off. With the momentum it was getting, was there nothing really that made you want to stay a fan of the art forms? I know you were a music guy yourself. I know you liked R&B and stuff like that. You enjoyed playing the R&B records. But as hip hop became what it became, there was nothing really about the art form that made you go like, oh, I fuck with this. I wanna listen to this, or.
Nah, not really. Because like I said, I fell back into my family. You know, I wanted to raise my family.
Yeah.
And how you do that? You go to work and go home.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Right, because hip hop hadn't even reached the level yet at that time where you were looking at it like, I could make a living off of this even. It was just something you were doing.
Like I said, Big Hank invited me to go to Jersey to mess with Sylvia Robbins, but in my mind, I never seen it. I never seen it going there. I never seen hip hop going where it went. You know?
Was there something special about like the sound at the time? I know you were saying a lot of it was break beats or whatever, but was it more than that? What made hip hop stand out to you, like from a artistic or a technique standpoint? Like when you and Herk were spinning records, you know, a lot of times they mention like James Brown, you know, looping James Brown.
Yeah, Herk was James Brown fanatic. Yeah, Herk really was a cat. But like I said, he loved what he did, man. You know, and that's what I seen in God. They kind of really loved what they did, because why would you truly be in it? But judging, like I said, each borough or each side of town had its own little DJ or vibe. So, you know, you either held up your area or, you know, you didn't make it, to me. Because a lot of guys tried. You know, like I said again, they talk about Herc, but they wasn't on the same level. And somebody's in front of you, right? Like you can't be your dad. That's how I feel. You can't be bigger than your father. Like you young, but you ain't older than your father.
Right.
So if I'm 70 and you 60, how you did this before me? Or you telling me I didn't do that?
Right.
I don't understand the math part of it.
Right. People saying what's what when they weren't there to say it.
They wasn't there to say it.
Right.
Like I said, I consider that the lying kings and the glory stealers. But that's life, man. Believe me, that's part of how it goes.
When you was coming up though, not obviously not even hip hop because it wasn't a thing, but just being like young, going to school, being on the block. Who were some of your favorite musical artists coming up? Even like R&B, whatever, soul, whatever you listen to.
Again, Eddie Kendricks was my dude. That's why I said Eddie Kendricks was my dude. The Delphonics. I played a lot of slow music. At home, I didn't play fast music. I played slow music. And then when you in spots, you ain't playing a lot of up to do fast music. Like I played Michael Henderson. I played Donald Byrd. A lot of that. You know, like I said, I was the R&B side of hip hop.
And was you playing because it's what you liked, or was you gearing stuff for the women too?
Yeah, I mean, once again, my favorite, the Delphonics, at 2 o'clock at any Kool Herc party, I would start off a slow record at 2 o'clock. I used to tell you, you know, get ready, because it's almost time to go, dance off this and go to the mo. You know, so I would play For the Love That I Gave.
And they still do that now. Like you talk.
Once again, I'm not patting myself on the back.
Coke got all the sauce. Yeah. So you back then you was the night's winding down.
Yes.
You trying to send people out on a
Of
good
course,
note to
of
leave with their
course,
lady,
of course.
and you would switch
And-
over
yeah.
to R&B.
There you go.
That's crazy.
You know, and we the ones who kept the club from 4 to 6. That's why you hear them say they rock down to the AM. We created that. It was my birthday party. The party was over at 4. We put like 100 people in the back room. The owner left, and we closed the gate. Next time we opened it up, it was 8 in the morning. That's why we say we rock on down to the AM.
And what do you think makes the Bronx such a special place? Are you still in the Bronx today?
Yeah, I'm still in the Bronx, Bronx born. Like I said, once again, that's my home. That's why a lot of times I ain't go places, because I didn't have to go. But I'm running the street, I'm staying in spots. And I did partying so much, so heavy, you know?
By you being in the streets, do you feel like in some way that the street culture has always been tied to hip hop? Because it was tied to you and you started hip hop in a lot of ways?
Yeah, I mean, but you got that's my part. I say with the good and bad and the ugly.
Right.
You know,
One
you out
without
there-
the other.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I used to take it like this. I can't go in the bar and order milk.
Yeah.
You know that.
It's a bar.
It's
Yeah.
a bar.
Right.
You understand? So even with, as they say, drugs or whatever, man, there's law of the land and there's ways that things happen, man. You know, like I said, not repeating. I lost my best friend at 18 through the streets. So streets will take your life and make your life, you know. But the right way is getting an education. I mean, it boils down to getting what you get, but stay out of illegal stuff, because you got to go to jail. You do illegal stuff. They caught the biggest drug dealers in the world, the Chapos, the motherfuckers building tunnels underground, escaping prisons. And we just in the hood. How you gonna stop? How they not gonna get you?
Yeah. And then at this time also, it's crazy to think that it's so fresh that, like, in a lot of ways, you and Herc, y'all was kind of generating your own paper, because it's not like no one was getting signed yet. Like this is earlier than that.
Yeah, it's earlier than that, like I said again. Then Herc turned in, when I stopped, Herc turned into promoting. This is why a lot of people be like, you was a Herculoid, you know. Herculoid was
Right.
the part of Herc that he was promoting.
Yeah.
And I knew no side of that, like
Right.
I said again.
That's crazy. And then with like everything today, you know, hip hop today, like you spoke on earlier, you got trap sounds, you got all these different influences in different genres. I know you said you don't really have anything bad to say about any, you know, variant of hip hop, because it all stems from the source. But do you have any advice that you would give to like the younger generation, like, or younger generation of artists, or just in general, like things you see as an OG in the game now that maybe you think they could, you know?
I mean, it's hard, you know, once again, but you got to go for your dream. I got to put it more a little bit that way, because a lot of it with the promoters and different parts of this business is corrupt, you know. So again, but like I said again, if you get an education, you can get a job. You know, some people feel like it'll never add up to that street money, but you'll never go to jail, going to work and home. So it adds up, but who could have told me that? You couldn't have told me that when I was hustling. Because when you're getting money, you ain't listening to nobody.
Facts.
Come on.
Yeah, who's really listening?
Yeah.
I'm getting money.
Nah, for real.
Just saying. Who listens?
No, absolutely. Do you feel like there was artists that once hip hop, shortly after that, I know you said you didn't keep up with it as much, but obviously you've heard of, you know, some of the names that came after you. Do you feel like some of them kind of maybe studied what you did, but then took it to the next level?
I take it as in life, everything advanced. You know, like you break records, you break scoring records, you break fighting records. So everything must improve, right?
Right.
It can't stay the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was good at 20. I know. Again, I'm 70. How many guys are 70 walking around?
Not a lot.
You know, without a crutch, without a chair, can't stand up. I still drink Henny and smoke a little weed. You know, once again, some things I'm not gonna stop. I'll stop the Henny, but I ain't gonna stop the camera. I'm a 2010 Culture Cup Award winner, High Times Magazine. I'm 2010, Google me. I'm down with Bob Marley, Cheek and Charm. I'm marked as a smoker.
And I don't think, I don't think any of us have to ask who your favorite NBA team is, man. You got that shit on
Yes,
right now.
I mean, I'm a Knickerbocker born. I was there when Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, Bill Russell, and they won the championship. So again, I'm 70. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was in the ticker tape parade going up the Canyon Heroes. Y'all been in New York?
What was it? What was that era though? Like when the Garden? I'm sure you know, the Garden was. They say the Garden was Eden at that time. You had all those legends compared to like. Is it hard being a Knicks fan now, or is it just a part of you still like rooting for the squad?
I mean, again, you go stay with your team. Just don't bet on them. You know, I ain't gonna bet no money on them.
Dang.
But they my team.
Yeah.
I gotta say that.
Not betting no money on the Knicks?
I mean, now we're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
We're doing a hell of a lot, you know. But again, look at the teams now. You know, like look at the Thunder, the young boys.
I'm a pizza connoisseur, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, New York is you know, to me, the best pizza in the world is in New York.
Right.
Do you, growing up or at any point or now, present day, whenever, did you have a favorite slice in New York or to you where the spot you would go to get a slice?
Yeah, right. I mean, the Bronx kept pizza shops.
Yes,
sir.
They had a pizza shop on my hood, Featherbed Lane. They had an Italian pizza shop. His son, because they lived on 174th and Nelson Avenue. Italian, Harry, you know, Italian pizza man.
Yeah.
His son played ball with us, party with us. His son's best friend was a kid named Toby, about a 200-pound black country boy. He taught Toby how to make pizza. Toby was making pizza in the Italian pizza shop. Some Italians came in one night, a little saucy, because they was like, Sal. And when they seen Toby, they said Al Capone is turning over in their grave because he gave the secret to a black man.
Damn.
And walked out the pizza shop.
That's crazy.
That was crazy. Until today, Toby can make some good goddamn pizza. He brought a shop himself. A black guy. Picture that. 70s. Making pizza in an Italian pizza shop.
So
That's like him in a Chinese restaurant.
That's crazy. So that was
All right. Right.
that was your best for like your favorite pizza.
Yeah.
What was it called? What was it called? It was called Toby's or what?
It was Sal's. Big
Sal's.
Sal's. You know, but his son.
And is that still there today?
Under another name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Unbelievable. He taught the brother like the brother taught him how to make chicken and ribs. You know, collard greens.
Damn.
You know, 'cause you come to my house, you eat at my house, we eat each other's house. You
Right.
know. So, but that was amazing. That was something.
And back in the day too, I think a lot of people, you know, when I was coming up in the 90s, and early 2000s, I was living in upstate New York during this time. I was in Poughkeepsie, New York, right? But like when we would hear people mention the Bronx, it was always like, they would almost whisper that shit. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like Lion King when the hyenas would say Mufasa, and they would like, It was like that though. It was like, you hear like, oh, you're going to the Bronx or whatever. Was that reputation always there?
Only to me on the fire part, you know, because like I said, you had so many nationalities that this is why again, you know, like I went to Brooklyn twice and got chased out of Brooklyn as a young kid, and I was like, I ain't going out there no more.
Damn.
I went with a guy to see a girl. You know how that happened,
Right.
And when we came out the building, we had to run on the train tracks.
Yeah.
So again, the Bronx had its little reputation because, to me, you fight in any hood, but on that level, you know?
Yeah. How did you perceive, as like a Bronx native, and I'm sure you take pride in the Bronx, how did you perceive the other boroughs? Or what, for the people that don't know, I feel like each borough is kind of known for what it's known for. Like, you know, they say Queens get the money, right? but what do you feel like from your lens?
From my lens,
Yeah, what was your perception of the different boroughs?
The only one I truly seen and was trying to chase was Harlem. Everybody in Harlem was getting money. Everybody dressed good, looked good, you know, and that's where you came from. as far as money making, they said it with Mount Vernon, they said,
Right.
I didn't go to places again. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm getting money, I ain't had to run nowhere, go nowhere,
Right.
you know? Like I kept a car, I bought a car at like 17. I'm messing with Dick Gidron, guys don't know, that's the Cadillac plate. They say OJ was one of the limos, Godfather was before OJ.
Right.
You know, if you want to talk the streets. See, I could talk more of that because I was in there. You know?
Right. And so like if I said like if I say Brooklyn or something, what would be the first thing that comes to mind with Brooklyn?
I'm not going out there.
I'm not going out there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Crazy.
You gotta know somebody.
Right.
That's the whole catch to this whole
Right.
traveling. You know, you gotta know somebody. You just ain't going in somebody's
Right.
block or hood and you acting like you that cat.
And was at this time like was Manhattan still like what it is to us today? Like were people going to Manhattan like or was that more of a touristy thing and like was that always that way or like if you wanted to have a nice time or like you was going out somewhere at night, you were just staying in the Bronx?
No. Again, I started driving at an early age. You know, so once again, I drive wherever. I used to wind up in Bear Mountain every Saturday, Sunday morning. I'm going horseback riding 8 in the morning. Then I go to City Island.
Yeah.
Then I come to the block. Then I'm on the block for a while. Then I might go play ball till 6 or 7. Go home, shower up, and go out where I'm going, or you know, go do what you do. I moved around. I wasn't the cat that just had to stay on the block. Or didn't go farther than the block. But then again, it come by knowing people, man. You know, like meeting you, coming from where you come from.
Right.
Us coming out here through Opie. Same old thing, man.
Hell
You feel
yeah.
good, you know?
Nah, for sure. And we appreciate you for coming out, man. LaRock, I want to give you your flowers. And it's an honor to sit here with you as someone that growing up in the 90s, I grew up without a father in the house. And I feel like hip hop fathered me in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that I should have learned maybe, you know, direct from someone.
Yeah, but
I didn't. I feel like I learned it from the stories and the trials and tribulations of the men that I looked up to in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And without you doing what you did, I feel like, you know, we always have to show that love to the pioneers because there's no guarantee that there would ever be some sort of trickle-down effect because it was never created before. It didn't come before that, so we can't say that it would have came after that. So I just want to salute you for that, for sure.
okay, but even on that note, I got to thank Jack, Pumpkin Man, and Desiree, you know, because I met Jack, and Jack he was running a club called the West End Lounge, and he lived a block from my block. So I used to walk by the store, or I was going home, and he seen me one day. So he ran out the store. He said, yo, you look like Kool Herc. So I said, yeah, that's me. So he was like, I got a club. Can you know, come check it out? And I was like, I just met you. You know, you'll see me again because we live on the same block. Then he got me about twice. Then he asked me to come to his club. And when I went to his club, he had a lot of young artists there performing. And I never forget, DJ Hollywood had a party that night. And I like stayed for like an hour, because I'm thinking it's a lot of young people. I really wasn't focusing on what he was trying to let me see. And at about an hour into the party, I got up and I was leaving. And a young lady came to me, she real, and she was like, Cope, you didn't see me perform. You know, you leaving, at least see me perform.
Right.
And when I seen her perform, she was great. And I stayed till the whole party was over, and after that, I have never left his party. Like, he said, this is giving back, and I'm seeing the youth. And like I said again, you know, come on, the youth is there. I mean, because I'm older. So you gotta recognize them, because they're the next foundation coming up in here, you know, and that's what I took that. And he brought me back, and then like I said, good people. I got my partner, the one and only, Lucky Bling. You
Shout out to
know,
Lucky,
very
man.
strong in my life. It's Lucky Bling, yeah, love him to death, you know, so
Love you back.
keep some good people with you, you know, and do what you do, man. Like I said, I'm a heart seeker, brain talker, you know, so I'm just living life now, and I got a couple of more years, hopefully, God.
Nah,
keep
for
me
sure,
here,
absolutely.
man. You know?
Hell yeah, more
But
life.
thank Atlanta, thank y'all, you know. Love y'all.
Absolutely.
Love y'all.
documentary come on, that shit started off fire.
Oh, Ski.
What's up with it?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna open it up to questions anyway, but Opie, that's a question for you, I think.
Yeah, that's a question for Opie.
That's what
Yeah, so here we could pass the mic around. So the documentary, I honestly, I just need someone to do the animation. Because I'm trying to like sell it, like put it on YouTube for rent, and I just need someone, because I can't like. There's not a lot of footage from back then, so I'm trying to get like an animator to like fill it in, and then once that's done, it's done.
Oh,
Yeah.
easy money.
I'll finish it like the next year.
You can pass that mic up here.
Yeah, we can pass the mic around.
We got some.
I got another question, but
Go ahead.
no, let's pass it around.
Yeah, I just want to say everything you were saying, bro, is very nostalgic. I was born in the Bronx. My family from Harlem, St. Nick Projects. I was born in Grand Concourse Village on the west side. So just hearing everything you're talking about for hip hop, man, I've been loving hip hop since I was pretty much like getting older in 1986, and just hearing the stuff that you're describing it's a lot of stuff that I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to admit that. But the story is very, very, it got me. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear a
Thank you, my
documentary.
brother.
I want to hear more, like your authenticity, your language, your terminology, your honesty is just very, very. I think you got a lot of impact, man. That need to get out more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
I'm a fan of everything you saying and said, and some of the stuff I understood, some of the stuff I was like, damn, my uncles was doing that.
Right, that's my point. Like I said, by talking, I never could really feel good about talking before because they blackballed me because I said I was a hustler. What you want me to do? You understand what I'm saying? So this is why a lot of people they don't even grab me because they like, well, you was a hustler, you know, and that was a bad image. But then what about Mickey Barnes? What about American Gangster? What about Al Pacino? What about these cats that get money? They go continue to get money. You know, we're not fronting on how we live. But thank you for
Salute,
understanding.
salute, man. Keep doing your
Thank
thing.
you.
Sure.
You guys are saying,
And I gave phobia, man. Shit.
No, I was just gonna ask, bro. So I might be like repeating. I don't want you to like repeat yourself, but like, is there like other people that are like trying to like claim your spot? Like, you know?
Yeah, you got a lot of people, you know, again, see, this is like, a lot of them keep trying to do it, but I refuse to get into the battling of, if I'm 70 and you 60, how can you say you was in front of me?
Yeah.
If the party was 50 cent, what was they giving parties for? A nickel? You know, come on now, mathematics, add it up. I can't say I'm older than my father. So that's the part of hip hop I can't deal with. This is why you don't see me on a lot of controversy, iPods and going back and forth. If Kool Herc is the father, then I got to be the fucking uncle.
Talk your shit.
One last question. Question for you.
well, I was just gonna say, quick question. How many siblings you got? You got siblings?
I got a daughter and a son. My daughter got no kids. My daughter's just made 42 last Wednesday. My son got 5. I got 5 grandkids, 26, 19, 14, 11, and 9.
There you go. I know they're proud, man.
Yeah, they are, man. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and a quick story. My grandson Josiah, he's 14 now, but now, like I said, I just was with him. He's 6'1", 220, he want to play ball. But anyway, when he was 6 years old, he was in preschool. His mother's a teacher, so my grandkids get E's and A's. They don't even get B's. E's and A's, excellent and A's. Their mother's a teacher, so I don't want them. I told them, you're going to be a nerd, but you're going to be a fighting nerd. You're going to be a person that got your own mind. You ain't backing down. Ain't nothing wrong with being smart. Ain't nothing, we run from it. You know, we know the truth. A dumb motherfucker, he don't even want you to talk that. That's like carrying a Bible, because they don't want that. They don't want God, they don't want nothing. But my grandson was 6. He called me one day. He said, Papa, what's your real name? See, to show you. So I'm like, what you mean my real name? He like, your real name. Your name ain't but Papa Coco. So I was like, what? So I said, ask your dad. He said, no, I gotta ask you. So I'm like, to myself, why is he asking me this? So I said, okay, I told him. Then he said, how I grew up. He was questioning me. So I said, grandson, you sound like the police. What's going on? So he said, no, Papa, stop saying that. Blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. I answered everything he asked me. And I hung up. And then I said, hold up, man, let me call him back, man. What's going on? So I called him back, hey, grandson, why was you asking me all them questions, man? He said, Papa, it's Black History Month, and you're my hero. You're the first MC in hip-hop. And that there made me cry. Made me cry. After that, that's why I'm here now talking, man. Because I'm proving to him I am that cat.
This is my last question. But let's say like 2010 up. Do you have like a favorite artist of like the new generation of?
It's hard. I hear things and I love it, but look out to this is just me talking at my age. It changed, like just like now the African sound or this sound of nationalities changed so much in hip hop. You know, so I can't truly pick a favorite, or if I hear it and to me, if it get me to move, that's how I judge every bit of music, right?
So there's not like one person.
No, I can't even sing them out. I truly can't. I can't because guys are so talented now. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Super Bowl with what you call them.
I would say you created a lot of us in here, bro.
No, thank you for that, man. Thank y'all for that. Thank y'all. I really appreciate that, really, man.
Go, legend.
So, we appreciate you coming out and just sharing all the knowledge and wisdom. And as someone who's a DJ now, I kind of want to hear you talk a little bit more about how you were finding records back then. Because for me, you know, I'm on the laptop, I'm scrolling. You're carrying crates around, you're going out looking for new records. Where were you finding new music, and what was that process like for you?
This is another part of this, of how I got down. I let Herk do it. Herk went and go get the records. See, because like I said, I'm out on the block or whatever. But Herk would get the records, and say 2 days before the party, I'll go to his house, you know, and we'll play the records, and I'll pick what I hear off the record. I never follow what Herk played, because I always say again, you know, we're two different individuals. We hear different sounds. Like Herk liked it the bass, I liked it the highs. And with me, I liked it more music that didn't have voices over it. That's how I truly was able to talk. That's why one of my records, T Plays It Cool. That was my introduction record. Guys felt they played that. I played it, how you 10 years behind me, you playing it, how you played it before me. You know, but I played music that they didn't really talk over. So that kind of helped me strengthen my MC side, but I couldn't see myself, my brother. I couldn't see myself. The only way I felt good was when I used to come to the party, my team, they'd be like, go rock them motherfuckers tonight. Rock, little rock. And I'm like, why are they doing that? You know, I used to look around like, I didn't feel it. But I knew how to control the crowd. And then I knew after a minute or two, they was doing me like Frankie Crocker. They wanted to pay me to call their name out. You know?
Yeah, my question is, what advice do you have for people that want to get into music or new rappers on the come up?
I'm not trying to make it seem funny or something. They better come see you, Owen. They better come see you. You're trying to do right, bro. I'm telling you. I only came down here because I feel you when you came up there, bro. That's why I gave you my picture. I ain't never in life gave no one a picture of me or nothing. But you was trying to put this movie together.
Yeah.
And I had to sign it and give it to you, not even knowing now that I gave away a jewel. I signed a comic book for a cat, $100 a comic book. Lucky got him. Bring that guy back, look. You know what I'm saying? But it means something. So you mean something to me, brother. That's why I gave it to you. I gave it to you. When you need me, I'm here, man. I'm here for you, brother.
Yeah, I don't got no question. Just first off,
That's Juice LaRock, yo, once again. That's Juice LaRock. That's the last guy with LaRock, but it's gonna be many more.
And just heads up, the way I got thrown into Kool Herc, I learned about growing in a college course, like hip hop, culture, and politics. Very first thing my professor was talking about is like the beginning of the culture. First name they brought up. I named myself that just out of a sign of respect, you know, like to me, LaRock, it almost symbolized one in hip hop in the beginning. You look at Scott LaRock, first guy to die for hip hop. Didn't Scott LaRock die outside of the Club Caravan One's manager? T. LaRock is yours. It's so many, so the name really do hold weight. I don't have a question. I just want to highlight some of the names you dropped in here: the Hevalo, the
Executive Playhouse, the Parkside Plaza, and the Manhattan Center.
But if you're deep in the hip hop lore, you know, like in the Bronx, those were like the stomping grounds where that 6-year period between, you know, the first hip hop party and Rappers Delight coming out and it being commercialized. It was a whole 6 years where they were actually in the field. So it's real cool to hear these war stories come.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
LaRock. Thank you, Junior. Junior on that.
I don't have no question. I just want to say, man, I grew up a hip hop head, and you are you're the first MC who created hip hop. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for coming out to our city, Atlanta. First time in the A, right?
Yes, first time. First time. Love it. Thank you.
We appreciate you so much. Can I get you on a record? I make beats too.
You make beats too?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta see Lucky Blank. Lucky Blank.
Kool Herc, man. Cheers to you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Love
you.
Oh, you taking pictures, yo?
Yeah, come on. Come on. Definitely pictures, man.
Get my foot out, get the foot.
I'm not one of them cats that be no pictures.
Hey, in closing, I just want to say I appreciate everybody for coming out tonight, man. I appreciate the staff, all the camera people, and just, man, a lot of people in this room is just, you know, home team, great people, and I appreciate y'all coming out to support Opie and come see Kool Herc and learn about hip hop, man. But if y'all want some pictures, go ahead and come in. Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I want to get a picture. Let's get a group picture. Yeah, I want to get a group picture.
Yeah, cool. I'm not gonna ask the OG. Cool. All right, shit, let's go.
Let's go. Woo! Kool Herc, let's go. Hold on, I'm gonna take a couple. I'm gonna take one more after this. Yeah, you gotta make sure. Hold up. Take a full body. Let's go. Let me get one more. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Yo, come in.
Let's go. Y'all getting more than the Sunday? Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Legend. Yes, sir. Blessing my hands for the club tonight.
Y'all want to do one?
Yeah, I'll
go
get
to
one.
Atlanta too.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Good one. So on, let's go. Let's go. I got you, baby. Yeah. Yeah, Hold it up.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let me get one of y'all close. Yeah, I like that. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, bro. First one. Thank you, bro. You snapped, bro. We got it. Yeah, we got it, bro. Hold on. Alright, I got it. I got that.
Yeah, make it hit. We gotta check in with Lucky, man. Talking on the intro.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's my. Pick another one. Yeah,
Champ is here.